being blind is easier than losing your vision. And I feel like I'm in the middle of that right now. And lately I feel like I'm leaving a world of sight to a world of non-sight. And it's lonely at times. Look how pretty the bird is. Look at how pretty the sunset is. I don't understand those things, but I do understand the way the wind feels. I understand the way something feels to me. There's a metamorphic change that occurs in your understanding of the world and your functionality as a person. Your body and your brain adapts to do what it needs to do.
Andy Ogg, welcome back to the See Through podcast, man.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it, man. Happy to be here, and thanks for making it happen, dude.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on again, man. We had such a good episode last time when it was you and your wife and me and my wife. And I think that was my most successful episode to date. So maybe we can rekindle some of that same energy and get people enjoying it.
And I got a lot of messages from that one, like probably 10 to 15 people reaching out and saying, man, that really hit home. And
yeah, that's the most feedback I got too on an episode in terms of people communicating with me and reaching out saying I watched the whole thing and it was really helpful. And I think like why that episode was so successful was, and this is going to sound like corny, but
it's because we had hot chicks on it, bro. That's why.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, for sure. But it's like finding love is like an essential part of life. Mm-hmm. And it's like everyone's interested in it, whether you found it or looking for it. It's like, who is my ideal partner and how will they be and how will they react to me? If you're someone like, us who has like an eye disease or something like that, it's almost like, it's very like interesting to people to see what love looks like.
It's a different life, dude.
Yeah. And that it's possible to find love and that everything can be good, and that kind of brings me to why I brought you on again, because you went on a vacation to Hawaii recently, and
you did
with your wife and your two kids, and I think it's another good message. Not only can you find love, but you can also find love and go on vacation in Hawaii as a blind man, and have fun. You texted me about your trip. And you were really hype about it, and you were like, "The cane is your best friend, man." You talked about how much you learned on this trip. So I was like, and then you were like, maybe it should be an episode, and I was like, let's make it an episode. So here we are.
I wanted to share it because it was an eye opener for me at myself, Yeah. So it was a good lesson,
Yeah. So Hawaii, 7 days, right? What a trip.
7 days. We went to Oahu, so we stayed in Waikiki, so down in the city. But there's like a little backstory on this. So our last vacation we did was 3 years ago. We were in Punta Mita, Mexico for about 10 days. And
you said that really well. It's like Punta Mita.
Punta Mita, Mexico. Yeah, it's about an hour north of Puerto Vallarta in the Bay of Banderas.
So you got that little...
dude, my wife's Hispanic, bro. I got to know something.
You speak Spanglish?
A little bit, man. I know how to get beer, and I used to be able to ask where the waves were.
Yes. Cerveza. I know that one.
Cerveza, por favor.
Yeah, there we go.
So that was like our last trip, and I was at that point not driving, but I still had vision, more usual vision than I have now, and was using a cane at night, and it was like mostly for safety because you guys know, I mean, you've been to Mexico. If anyone's been to Mexico, the streets are like, one curb 6 inches, the next curb's 2 feet. They're cobblestone, and there's dirt, and there's like a drain you might fall into. It's just not code like we have here in some of the states and all that stuff. So I was using it there, and it really helped. I noticed the benefits there. And then we got home when we were in Mexico, COVID began, and we were watching it spread and all this stuff. And we're like, oh my God. And we flew home. That's when like the masks just started to come out. So like we went home and TSA were wearing masks. We're like, whoa, this is crazy, So we like skied in before things started locking down. that was like our last trip, and we haven't done one since. COVID happened. We had to move from San Diego to Arizona, resettle in our life, our kids getting older, all this stuff, man. So we had talked about doing another trip, and Hawaii has always been a really special place for me and my parents. I went there every summer since my entire youth. We used to, week before school was out, we'd go out there, and I'd come home the week after school started. I love surfing. I love the beach. My parents loved it out there. They have a lot of history. They actually met out there.
Oh, wow.
So tons of history out there in Hawaii. So it has a special place in my marriage because
I've never been. It's on the list though.
It's a good one. It's a good one, man. It's fun. It's a fun place. And Mai Tais, man, these never end, and they're just so good. Everywhere you go, they're just real good. So when me and my wife met, I took her to Hawaii, kind of impromptu. I was making a ton of money and lived in an apartment, and didn't have any overhead. So we flew out to Hawaii for like 4 days, and we had her birthday party out there. And then we went again for our honeymoon after we got married with our little Peyton, who was 2.5, for 2 weeks. And so we have time there together. And it's a special place kind of for our family here, and obviously with me and my parents as well. So we wanted to go again, and we booked our trip for December of 2022. November rolled around, and my vision has been deteriorating very quickly. And it's been deteriorating pretty quickly for the past 2 years, really. Like every week it feels like something new's gone.
Yeah. So the last time you were supposed to travel, it was pre-COVID, right around when COVID was starting, and you had more vision than you do now. Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
dude.
From COVID to now, your vision is deteriorated, and you're basically almost completely blind.
Yeah, I can see the light of the computer, but I can't see you, unfortunately. Yeah. I can't see those beautiful locks I hear about.
I'm just shaking my head, slow motion.
Wave it out, dude.
But yeah, I know that about you, but I'm just restating it in case maybe someone's new.
I have retinitis pigmentosa, and it's progressed really quickly in these past couple of years. So I've been to the ophthalmologist in the past couple of years because I just hate going. But I'd say probably down to under 5 degrees of usable vision. I've lost all color, no depth perception anymore because my right eye doesn't see anything. It's just a dark little pinhole that so I've lost all that depth perception. So
how sharp is your usable vision? Sharp at all?
No, blurry. 20/400 with corrective lenses.
With corrective?
Yeah, so I wear a -16 in this eye, the contact, because the glasses are like a Coke bottle.
Yeah.
So contacts are the only way to go, and without them, it's getting to the point where the difference between with them and without them is starting to blend.
Maybe you should just ditch the contacts, man. I used to wear contacts, and they're such a pain in the ass. They would always dry up, and
yeah, they are, dude.
That's why I switched to glasses.
Yeah,
but they do. They do have their pros and cons. But yeah, I don't know how much there is to this, but there's a study about contacts, not allowing oxygen into your eye or whatever, and so I saw that, and I was like, man, contacts are annoying.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
So I kind of made the switch, but sometimes I'm like, maybe I should get some contacts just for every now and then when I want to have a glow up,
Yeah. No, I tried glasses, man. My low vision doctor back in San Diego gave me a pair, and all right, cool, man. I can watch TV with them. I put them on, and they're so thick. It's like looking through an extreme fisheye lens, the real wide 180s. And it's I could see a TV, but it looked 100 feet away. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's the best thing to have for someone with RP is have fisheye glasses, because then it'll give us more it'll give us more peripheral.
Yeah, it's true. It's not a bad idea.
We should invent that.
Yeah, fix the RP fisheye glasses.
Yeah, and they're really tiny.
Yeah,
really tiny lenses, and they're fish eyes, and they're almost the size of contacts, but they're on you wear them as glasses.
That'd be cool.
And
man.
Yeah, that would be cool.
They call it the fishbowl.
Yeah, and they're red tinted. Have diamonds on them.
Bling them up.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to go in 2022, which is last December. We just weren't ready, man. I was And like as anyone with RP, and I think anyone with vision loss or going through something like this where you're kind of losing a part of yourself, is like you have the physical part, like, oh crap, I cannot see this anymore. Oh, I lost this. I can't, I'm knocking over everything. I'm breaking. But then you have the emotional part of all that where it's like, whoa, you're dealing with a metamorphic change in your body and who you are and your persona and your everything, man. Like there's a lot of different parts to it. It's not just seeing, right?
Yeah.
So we just said no, like we can't do it. We're not ready. So we rebooked it for June, which was last month. And were we ready? But we did it. And we learned as a family so much. And for myself, I learned so much. So the experience really taught me, it's worth getting out there. Scary as can be. There's everything that can go wrong, especially when you're not seeing. And then there's the emotional side of, gosh, I'm not going to be able to see my kids' beautiful faces on this beautiful beach. So I'm not going to be able to see these beautiful colors in the sunset or how clear the water is and all this stuff. And those were all things we had thought of before we went, but we said, let's do it. Let's break our comfort zone. So we did it. And I learned a lot along the way. And I think it could help people, man. Like, there's a lot of people out there like, me and like you who are in the more beginning stages of your vision loss and me who's a little bit more down the road. And, I started looking for answers when I was at your stage, 6 years ago.
Yeah, same. I'm constantly looking for answers, man. That's what this podcast is. I need answers. Yeah. Because you get so many questions. I don't think there is any. I don't think there is any, but every podcast you've done, I've listened to, man. The one with your mom and your sister and, Justin Bishop and Dan and all these guys. Like I've listened to all of them, and every single one I get something from. I get something of motivation or something that like, that's a good idea, or hey, I should try that, or man, he's doing it, I could do it, Yeah.
So like I listened to the Dan Mancina and Anthony Ferrara, the Four Bad Eyes, and it's a great podcast. They're funny, but Dan's out there. Funny. He just said in a recent episode he went to the airport in an Uber, got out of the airport, went through security, went to his gate by himself without a guide. And in my mind, I was like, well, how do you do that? The cane's going to tell you a lot what's right in front of you, but an airport terminal isn't a sidewalk. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a real wide area. How do you know where you're going?
Yeah.
Blows my mind, dude. Still to this day blows my mind. So we did it differently. So we left on a Tuesday morning. Our driver picked us up like 4:00. Again, we had this mentality of we're going to make this as easy as possible for everyone. So my wife could have driven us down there, but we had a driver pick us up, drive us to the airport. That was just one less thing we had to do, right?
Yeah.
And we get to the airport, and I registered as a disabled person with TSA Cares.
You did that when you booked the flight?
Yeah, when I booked the flight, it has that question. My wife did it, but are you traveling with anyone with disability or special needs? Yeah. She clicked the box, and she put, he's blind, and so we go in and they say, hey, I got my cane out, obviously, and we're from the car to the check-in was already like the most stressful. We had all these bags and 2 kids. Luckily, my mom flew out there with us, so we had an extra set of hands to help with children in bags getting through that part. Nice. And that was really helpful. I'm really appreciative of that, and it made it less stressful. So we got there, and okay, well, here's your wheelchair, and I'm like, man, I don't want to. I can walk, like I want to walk, and they said, well, just trust me, this is better. And I'm like, I don't know, I can't see anything. It's all white, it's all light colors, and like it's like a little black counter. That's it. So I'm like, all right, man, let's do it, right? So humbled myself in a big way, just didn't want to do it, but all right, bigger picture here.
Yeah. Well, I've dropped my mom off at the airport before, and she got put in one of those, and it was like VIP. They like
bro,
you go to the front of the line.
Oh, I didn't wait in any line. Like I literally from the time we checked in and I got in that chair, we were at our gate within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, nothing, man. Like there was no lines. My family was right behind me the whole time. I had no idea where we were going. I felt like we were like underneath the White House or the Pentagon or something. I feel like we went through a secret tunnel, dude. It was, I'm just like looking around. I'm like, checking to make sure my wife's there and they're behind me and they're there. I'm like, okay, dude, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Right. And yeah, I mean, it was quick. And it was like that leaving Hawaii too, man. We got to the airport in Hawaii after we were done, and wonderful lady at Hawaiian Airlines took our luggage, checked our bags for us, said, do you need guided help? And I said, no, I got my daughter, and we straight through. I mean, straight through. It really does help. So, the blind part there, like, yeah, it does help get you through that faster, which was nice. That was definitely helpful.
So you said you had to check your ego a little bit. Do you feel like now that you've kind of been there, done that with using the wheelchair in the airport, like next time you'll just be like, yeah, give me the wheelchair? Or are you going to try to explore?
I'd rather walk. Like I'd rather do either my daughter or my wife as a guide, or what happened when we were leaving Phoenix here in Arizona. We got through security, and the lady who was pushing my chair was very nice. And apparently she had an eye disease too. I couldn't remember the name of it, but she was like asking me all these questions while we're walking, and she was being my guide. So I held her elbow and we walked straight through the airport, because I told her I didn't want to sit in the chair after we went through security. And we made it to our gate, and I said, all right, family's here. Where's the bar so I can get a drink? Right. So went to the bar, got some food because we're all starving.
Because you want to make this trip as easy as possible for yourself.
Easy as possible, man. That was the mentality. Like easy peasy, dude. Like,
what drinks you get?
Man, I think I had a big tall Coors Light. That's my drink, man. I'm a cold Coors Light drinker.
I hear you.
All day long. I had a few of those.
Blue Mountains.
Blue Mountains all day, dude. So yeah, we get there, and I'm frazzled already. And I told my wife, I'm like, all right, that was embarrassing. She's like, no, it wasn't. So I'm proud of you. I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, oh, my wife just saw me in a wheelchair. She thinks I'm crippled and handicapped, and I don't love this guy anymore. She was just, in your head, right? You spin.
Oh, yeah, dude. I would think all that stuff.
Oh, I felt so insecure right there, right? And but we did it. So I'm like telling myself, like, we're here. We made it this far. We've now got from home to the airport to our gate. Okay, and that's kind of how I looked at every step of this was, okay, not thinking ahead too far. What's right in front of me? What do we do now? You know what I mean? Like this next challenge, whatever it is. So we got food, and then we got on the plane, and obviously we did early boarding, which, man, I recommend my big learn from this was there's assistance out there for the disabled, or people who can't see good, or people who do just need extra time. Take it, because flying, I mean, everyone's opinion, flying sucks, dude.
Yeah, I hate it.
Why make it worse? You know what I mean? Like, why make it harder? If you can't see and you need some extra time, take the extra time. So we pre-boarded, got on our seats, we're settled in. All right, man, we're now going to Hawaii. And man, we're in the air. The flight wasn't bad.
No turning back once you're in the air, man.
Yeah, they have you close all those windows. I don't know if you've flown recently, but when I 5-6 years ago, it was like all the windows could be open. It was light coming in.
Oh, I think it's on the runway, right? During takeoff.
They had it closed the whole time.
Oh.
Like my kid was opening up and closing her window, but no one else like really had the window. It was weird. I don't really understand it. Maybe it's just because it's a big blue water underneath you. Like, what are you going to see? I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't see anything on the plane. So I used my cane, tried to find the bathroom, and that was tough. Like it was, I can't remember where the plane was, but it had a mid bathroom. So it was like seats, and then there was a bathroom, and then more seats and coach behind it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I know it's like 3 rows behind me. So I'm like, okay, got up.
Did you pick that seat specifically because it was kind of close to the bathroom?
Lucky draw, dude. Just luck of the draw. Yeah. It was just the luck of the draw to have a bathroom closed, especially with 2 little kids. It was nice to just have them we didn't have to go walk in there all the time,
I try to book like seats, and like even at concerts and things like that, I try to factor in like easy in and out access to like the bathroom.
It's a way to go.
Yeah.
My wife gets all pumped anytime we get seated at a restaurant and it's near the bathroom. She's like, oh, right on. It's right near the bathroom.
Yeah.
People that are with us are like, why would you want to be near the bathroom?
Yeah. He's like, I just really like that bathroom air. I just really like that. Those whiffs that come from the doors.
It's real reaffirming to me. Yeah, dude. This is the little things, man. Like all these little things that you learn through this process. Yeah. But yeah, that's like, we do the same thing. Like, at a restaurant, we try. If they sit us there, we're just happy.
Like in a movie theater, I won't sit anywhere but the aisle seat. Like I'm an aisle seat person. Like me
too. And that's what I am on a plane too. I'm big. I'm 6 feet.
Yeah.
Like I need to kick my legs out a little bit. They got to move a little bit, but I missed the bathroom and I started walking right into a row of people. So I'm like tapping my cane, like, where the hell's the bathroom? And all of a sudden I feel someone's foot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know? But like lesson number one, the cane tells people that you can't see. Like, if I had had my cane right there, pretty good chance I would have like just fallen on this whole row of people that I don't know, right?
Yeah.
The cane helped me right there. So like it was, you know, I'm still having a relationship battle with the cane. I don't want to use it all the time, but man, it is, it really helps a lot. It really does change the game. So that was a helpful tool, you know, right then. But we made it. We got to Hawaii, which was awesome. Felt great to walk around because it's so tight. It's a long flight. It's like 6 hours from Phoenix. Kids were freaking rambunctious and full of spunk when we got there.
This is a random question, but I can't stop thinking about it. Is it hard to find the paper towels in the bathroom?
I don't even look for them anymore. So the bathrooms at the airport, I mean,
because it's hard for me.
I can't see. So when in a bathroom, I can't see anything. So it is. Public restrooms are an adventure no matter what I'm doing. Like we've developed a couple little routines. Like, well, if we're at a bar or a restaurant, my wife will kind of walk me to the bathroom and she'll open the door up and she'll like, it's not peeping Tom or anything, but she'll be like, okay, right hand side, halfway down. And she'll like see the urinal, right? So at least I know where I'm going. But to be honest, probably 30 times, 30 times now, like I'm just in the bathroom, tapping around, dude, just hitting the walls, you know, hitting stuff. And someone's like, hey, man, you need a hand? I'm like, yeah, I do. You know, like it is. I don't know where I'm going to take a leak, man. Can you help me out, please? You know?
I was going to make a joke, but it's kind of disgusting. But it was like when you the directions, it's like whichever way your streams go, and it's like little left to the left.
Yeah. It's a lot of sound, man. It is a lot of sound. Like, it's.
You get that sweet spot of the water when you hit it right in the middle. But if you're hitting
unless it's one of the ground ones that doesn't have water, then you're just
then
I'm either hitting the wall or I'm hitting the urinal. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go with the flow here. You know, no pun intended. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly, man. But I was curious about the bathroom. Bathrooms are tricky.
Suck, dude. I always carry like the little Purell, like the My daughter calls it Hanitizer. You know, from COVID, always got one of those in like my backpack because, like it's already hard enough to get to a urinal. Like, it's already hard enough to get to that point, and then to find the sinks. Like airport bathrooms are a maze, dude. Sometimes the sinks are in another part of the bathroom, or they're on the way in, or they're all the way against the back wall. Like I don't know who designed those things, but there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Sure, so I agree.
I went, and then I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I get my hand. All right, let's move. You know, but people are generous, dude. Like everyone. The entire trip, people offered help. You know, like, hey, do you need a hand? Yeah. Where's the urinal, man? Oh, left. You know, around the corner, and then it'll be right there. And that gets me where I need to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like I can't see anything in the bathrooms anymore. So it's an adventure, bro. Like going to a public restroom is an adventure. And I've heard other people talk about it, man. If you're blind, your bladder gets really big because it's so hard to do it. They go to the restroom sometimes. So
you know what? That just gave me anxiety because I'm like, because I feel like I have a weak bladder, man. Not to give TMI.
It'll get stronger.
But I'm like, I'm gonna start training it, some weight training for my bladder. You know,
it really happens, dude. Like it really has happened. I wouldn't say hundreds, but like it's happened. It happens quite frequently where I'm like, I need to go home now. You know, it's time for me to go home because I didn't want to go there. I didn't know where it was. And I'm like, let's go home now, you know, or whatever, wherever we are. So public restrooms,
you know what? I would consider those diapers, dude.
It's cruising, dude. Just cruising like Tommy from Rugrats.
Yeah, exactly. On the plane, just go.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Hey, you said you wanted to make it easy. Easy is for yourself.
I don't know if I'm ready for that jump yet.
Get a catheter.
I turned 40 this year. I'm not. I know old age is coming. I don't want to jump that far yet.
Yeah, I have a friend who, when his parents come to visit New York City, it's kind of hard to find a bathroom when you're out in the city. And his dad will wear them, and just because he one time he just got so frustrated, and I respect it. I respect it. You know.
I imagine because I mean, either at a restaurant or a shop, a store, right? I mean, if you're not a paying customer, they don't want to let you in, so it makes it hard.
And they make them pretty fashionable now too. So
yeah, let me know how they work out for you, Dan. I'll let you test run that one for me.
I'm going right now as we talk.
Oh man!
All right.
Oh, I don't know.
We should probably change the subject. All right. So you're in Hawaii. You are now in Hawaii.
We made it to Hawaii.
Yeah.
My dad had flown out, so my dad was there as well. It was just like they were there. They wanted to be out there. They already planned their vacation, which we kind of piggybacked. Yeah. He met us at the airport. And super, he spoiled my daughters and got him a limo. So they roll out and there's a limo. My kids are like, oh my God. He got them fresh Hawaiian Lays, which is super nice. Dang. So they're happy. We got our bags. We're like, this is happening, man. We're moving, dude. Like we're actually doing it. I haven't broken a toe yet. I haven't fallen down yet. I haven't bashed my face. So like we're on a win right now, dude. We're gold starring. So, like at that point, I'm like, all right, we did it, So we got we stayed at a condo. Like there's it was an old hotel. They converted to condominiums called the Ilikai. And we were able to find a 2-bedroom condo with like a living space that was actually pretty big. Yeah. The coolest part is this thing was all windows. So natural light for days. Okay. The bad part, they were single pane windows. So the second the sun came up, the condo started just heating up like crazy. It was like you're like a magnifying glass on an ant kind of situation. But there was a lot of light, which was good. But we made it there, and I'm like, the first thing we do is my wife goes through and moves stuff. There's a big glass table, so she put pillows around the glass table, so my cane hits that. Yeah. That's a good trick.
Women can't help doing that, dude. They just can't help themselves.
They want to help, man. So my wife, we've got this little routine down, and she goes and she does a wait here, and she kind of gets it ready for me so I don't go in and start breaking stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well, I was actually talking about reorganizing.
Oh yeah. Oh no, hers is all bait. Like, so we did this on our last trip when we did like a little one night stay is she grabs like throw pillows from the couches and puts them on the bases of tables, like coffee tables. Oh, or so on the bases of, so I can feel it. And if I do kick it, I'm kicking a pillow and not something real hard. Yeah. And the pillow's wider, so your cane hits that pillow and doesn't go underneath the table. Because as you know, I mean, I'm sure sometimes the cane, if you're in a restaurant, it gets tangled up a chair real quick, and you have to stop, pull it out, and regather yourself as you're scooting around. So,
what kind of cane tip do you use?
I've got a roller marshmallow tip.
Oh, you do the marshmallow tip? Yeah. Do you ever do the ball?
I haven't tried the ball yet. I actually just ordered a new one, which I'll touch on in a few minutes. But I had my first cane die on me this trip, so it was I got it hanging up in my garage, calling it the wall of blind, dude. I can't get rid of it because that's the cane I used to learn, and I did my mobility training with, and it's got a little special place in my heart.
Yeah,
now.
I just did O&M training.
Good for you. Hell yeah, dude.
I got a cane out of it, and I already feel attached to it. So I relate. I could only imagine like using it for a while and then it breaking, dude. That would be heartbreaking.
Well, you never, I have a blind friend, Patrick Lennon, and he's been blind for 25 years now. You never leave home without one cane. You always go 2 or 3 because you never know what's going to happen.
Oh, really?
And you can't go to Rite Aid and buy a cane. You can't go to Walmart and buy they just don't, no one has them. So you're out there, you might as well have some backup. So I bought 3. My old reliable one, which is retired now, and then I brought a brand new one and then another one just as backup. Luckily, that cane got me through the whole trip until like the second to last day.
Well, that's good to know, because good advice, because if you didn't bring that backup cane, you would have not had one.
I would have been pissed. It would have been bad. Yeah, it's worth. I mean, they don't really take up much room. Like you can throw them in your backpack and it sinks to the bottom and it's there. So yeah, I recommend if you're traveling, definitely take more than one, because you never know what'll happen. And gosh forbid you leave it somewhere, because you never, you're not at home, right? You're not at your local stomping grounds or whatever. So yeah, bring more than one. So yeah, we got the condo set up, but yeah, pillows around coffee tables, pillows on the edge of bed. Like this particular condo had like a platform bed, and I'm pretty sure the edge of it had just like straight up 4-inch nails coming out of it, dude. Cause it was like the sharpest wood in the world. Like one little tap of your shin and it's like cut your shin and like you're bleeding. I'm like, oh my God, this is brutal. So we put pillows all around there. That's a good helpful tool, just to kind of pad those things can hurt you. Because eventually, I mean, by day two, I was no cane in the condo. I was able to figure it out. I knew my steps. I had set up some areas where I could see a dark piece of furniture. I knew where I was in the condo. You know what I mean? Like you kind of, you do adapt, right? Like you figure out your routines. There was a couple trouble areas I just kind of avoided, but.
Is it a skill set you've learned? Like, do you feel like you're faster at mapping out new rooms? The more
it's something I would have never paid attention to 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah. And now 100%, like our neighbors that helped us while we were gone, they helped water our plants and take care of, we have a pet bunny. My daughters have a pet bunny. So they had to take care of our ferocious bunny. And I know their house. So like, I can't say I know it so well I can move quick through it, but sometimes I just won't bring my cane over there. You know what I mean? Like I feel comfortable in their home. I know the steps to the bathroom. I know where the bathroom is. Yeah. And like all that kind of stuff. I know where their fridge is. I know where their pool is. I know where all this stuff is. So I can go there without a cane. But yeah, it's taken me a year to figure that out because I don't live there. My house, I don't use a cane unless we have a ton of people here or a ton of kids here or our kids are, that's really the only time I use it. Mm-hmm. But at home, like when I got home from Hawaii, I hung that cane up. I didn't touch it for like 2 weeks. I didn't even want to hold the thing. I was tired of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, can you talk about that? Like what makes you so tired of it? You just had to use it so much?
So whenever we left the condo, because I mapped out the condo, I was able to walk around the condo. Yeah. Whenever we left the condo, I was on a cane. Walking down the hallway, it had one like of those old filament light bulbs, I think, in the whole hallway. It probably wasn't as dark as it felt like to me, but couldn't see anything. So I used a cane the whole way down the hallway. Elevators are tricky, but having a cane in front of you really helps because when you walk in and you bump into someone, it's immediately explained why I did that. Yeah. I'm learning Braille, so I've learned my numbers. So I was able to kind of feel the elevator buttons. Yeah. But I still not fast enough at it yet, like just the basic functionality of it. But from there on, it's cane. Like everywhere we went, every restaurant, every shop, everything we did, every beach trip, everything we did, it was a cane. Except for one day where my parents were really cool and they watched my kids for a couple hours and my wife and I were able to go for a 2-mile walk down to a favorite restaurant of ours and have a cocktail together. And I told her, I was like, I'm done being blind today. I'm tired of being blind. I said, I want to just do our sighted guide today. I want to move today. I want to walk fast. So cane was in my backpack and oh man, it felt so, I was walking free head up, dude, moving. And it felt great. So like,
wind blowing through your hair.
Need that break. Yeah, dude, it looked good. But you need the break. Like you get tired of it. At least for me. I won't speak for everyone, but I definitely was like, man.
I relate because even during training, it was like, it'd be like an hour lesson when we would go out in my neighborhood. And by the end of the hour, I was like, fuck this. And I was just kind of like, I was happy I did it. Like I always felt really like proud of myself and I felt like an accomplishment.
Moving.
Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, man, like I was like using the cane is a lot of effort. I mean, it's like you got to stay in sync with it. And I would constantly get out of sync and then I have to correct. And then the cane would get stuck in the sidewalks, cracks. And then, and then I was just like, man, like I was surprised at how much energy it took. Mental and physical. It took both mental and physical because you got to like focus on what you're doing. People take that for granted. I think when you can just walk and not really think about.
Well, like I do therapy, and she's like, "Well, why?" She's like, "Can you go for a walk?" And I'm like, "A walk for me is not the same thing as a walk for you. A walk for me is stressful. A walk for me is focusing and it's paying attention and it's not like I just listening to the birdies and enjoy, it's like, it's a different situation. A sighted walk is different, right? Like when you work with a sighted guy, like my wife or my daughter, who's 9, who stepped up so big this trip, which I do want to touch on. Yeah. You can let your hair down, and put that cane away for a few minutes and just take a break from it. But it was caned up the whole time, man. It was a busy cane trip. But when we got home, We got home at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday night. And I mean, we put the kids to bed. I walked around my house for an hour, like just free, walked around outside, went around my pool, was out in the backyard, walked around the inside. I mean, like I just was so happy to like feel that confidence again. And that feeling of freedom without needing the assistance of the cane or someone there to help me. Right. Like there was definitely a relieving factor of coming back to my safe place. And it was measurable, very measurable.
Yeah. I recommend, it's kind of reminds me of a theory I have where it's like some people are homebodies, but I think there's nothing wrong with being a homebody. I'm a homebody myself, but I think when you go out and travel and you get outside of your comfort zone, it makes home even more warm and welcoming, So it does. But if you never leave your home, it's kind of like you don't. Maybe you kind of get a little bit ungrateful for that comfort of it,
We were literally, before we left on this trip, we were sick of our house, man. We were like, oh man, we need a bigger place. We need to do this. We need to reno this. We want to do. And we're sitting there and like, before we left, we're sick of it, man. And then we got home and we don't want to do anything. And we're just so happy to be home. And we really came home with a sense of gratefulness. Like, man, we've got it good. Like our house is beautiful. It's not the fanciest home, but it's beautiful and it keeps us safe and it's got room and it's got, it's like, it really provided a new perspective on it, and the gratefulness of it and just being really mindful of what you have instead of that Jones effect, right? As you get older and you're buying houses and cars and all that. Oh, I want that one. That person's got a bigger house. I want the bigger house. I want a boat. I want that, it's like, no, dude, possessions don't equate to happiness at all. They never will. They just end up owning you because they require something from you. Yeah. Whether it's a payment or maintenance, they're going to require.
Yeah. Nothing's free,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
On the walk thing, have you ever considered like a treadmill or something like that? Do you think that would do the trick?
Yeah, I use a treadmill. It does. I mean,
can you like go on a walk and kind of, cause like I go on walks now with my dog and it's almost like essential to my mental health. If I'm having a stressful day, I'll go out with a walk with my dog and I so it's like I need a walk. So let's say, my years later my vision's progressed or digressed and I still need that walk. Does the treadmill do the trick? Does it? I'm just curious.
For me, not really. For me, it does exercise, it gives you that. But for me, I like to walk like I'm an outside person, dude. Like we're hitting a heat wave. It's been 110 today. I think it's 110 today. And after this, I'll be outside walking around, man. I may be in board shorts without a shirt on, but I walk around my backyard. I walk around my house. I walk around my street, kind of my little area here that I don't need a cane for, as I have it all memorized. Yeah. But for me, that's like my freedom. But some days I'll be working or I'm sitting at my desk. I'm losing my mind. I'll go walk around my backyard 40 times.
Nice.
Zigzag and cross up.
That's more of like your treadmill was like your yard and walking around.
For me, that's a big freedom space for me.
I'm a big fan. It was
mandatory when we bought the house.
I'm a big fan of the sun. I know that sounds like some holistic hippy dippy stuff, but the sun is what people need more of. It's just does something for you. That it's inexplainable. I'm sure there's a scientific explanation, with like vitamin D and all that, but I think it's beyond that.
My wife thinks I'm crazy for how much I am in the sun. Like she thinks I'm nuts. Like I'm a Caucasian man and I got pretty dark skin because I am always outside. My neighbors think I'm nuts, man. I'll be out there at 110 trimming my trees and they look at me like, what is wrong with this guy, man? Oh, yeah. I'm a sun man, dude. I've always been that way.
I'm similar because I mean, I grew up in North Carolina, and it's eastern North Carolina, and it's very humid, and it'll get really hot. Nothing like Arizona.
But it gets up to 95.
You're in like the hottest in the nation. But yeah, it'll get like the other day. My mom sent me a screenshot, and it was the heat index was 115.
Woo! And so it was probably 95 with humidity.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we noticed that in Hawaii, man. Like we coming from here, it's 105, 110. We're fine. We got to Hawaii and all of us were just drenched and it was only 78 degrees. It was only 78, but man, that humidity, it just, I mean, I lost weight on that trip because I was sweating so much. You know what I mean? Like just a totally different feel, that dry heat compared to humid heat. There's a massive, it's crazy though.
But yeah, I'm used to the humid, hot heat. So like New York summers are kind of a breeze for me. And like I used to have this patio and I would go out and sit when it would be like 100 degrees and I would just sit in this chair, you know, and just sit and sweat for like an hour. And that was just like, but I enjoy just sitting there sweating. So there's something to the sun, you know.
I promise you there is.
And yeah, so we're some sun brothers, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we are, man. If you ever make your way to Arizona, I promise you
get that
be in
pool.
the sun. You got that pool, baby. Get that pool floaty and a couple of cold drinks, and you, next thing you know, you're real relaxed out there. Maybe a little sunburn, but that's okay.
Drinking some Coors Lights.
But yeah, so the cane. So here's some lessons on the cane I learned. Always have it with you. No questions asked. You run into people. You bump into people. Walking through a restaurant, no matter how good your guide is, you're going to get your cane trapped up. I accidentally, my dad was actually trying to guide me, who, bless his heart, was doing his best, but you know, he's getting older in his life. So it was a challenging situation, but I went around a corner and my cane went underneath the chair and I just right with my knuckles, cause I had it, held it up, you know, like the drop on it and right into a girl's back of her head. And I went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. And I'm sure that it sounded like a bunch of people at that table. I'm sure I'd have probably had my ass kicked if I had the cane in front of me, right? Like I immediately said, sorry, I can't see very well. I'm sorry. And, oh, okay, it's no problem. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah. All right, man. I'm not going to get my ass kicked by some Samoan guy today. Sweet. You know?
Yeah, The Rock just comes out of nowhere.
I did notice people were nicer to us. Like, my wife and I went to a bar just that one day. We went for that power walk. And when we're in a bar setting, I always have my cane out, even when she's with me. Just for me, I feel more comfortable. And we're walking around trying to find a seat. It's real loud, people everywhere. And, you know, we did 2 laps and I'm using my cane. And an older couple said, hey, do you guys want our seats? We're about to leave. And we're like, yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That happened to us like 3 times on the trip.
Nice.
So is it pity? I don't know, man. They probably feel bad for us because I'm blind, but hey, man, I got my drink. So you know, it is what, like, I don't see it as pity. I see it as generosity. People want to help. I got offered help by probably 20 or 30 people on the trip. You know, do you need a hand? No, I'm okay. Thank you. So, I mean, there's good people out there, despite the headlines, despite what you see in the news and the world is collapsing and everyone's a jerk. There's still really good people out there. That definitely restored some of my faith in humanity a little bit, you know, made some positivity kind of come forth from that. Yeah. Always have the cane with you. The cane does not like salt water. That's going to be my next. Dude. I don't need it on the beach, right? Like it's a flat beach, you know, so I'm not using my cane on the beach with my kids. I can hear the water. I can feel the water. I can feel the slant down to the water. But I didn't use it on the beach, but we did go to the North Shore. So one day my wife was like, I want to go around the island. Let's rent a car and do it. And I said, honey, that's a lot on you, dude. Like you're driving the whole day, got the kids, you got me. It's a long day. She really wanted to do it. So we rented a 4-door Jeep, which was her mandatory requirement. It could not be a car. It had to be a 4-door Jeep.
Specifically 4 doors?
She wants a Jeep. So she had to, she gets what, you know, the least I can do, right? So she got her Jeep. And we leave Waikiki, which is stressful, like crazy downtown right area, and like kind of like New York, I imagine, like a lot of buildings and stuff. And we're driving around the island, and we stop by Turtle Bay, which is a beautiful resort on the North Shore. Where they filmed Forgetting Sarah Marshall, that movie.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
So we walked around the resort, and they actually have a drink called Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So we had to try that, right? That was very good. And the bartender was super cool. Me and him were talking, and just a great guy. So good experiences. And we went down to this place called the Shark Pools. It's a natural area park. It's like a beach kind of thing. And they're tide pools formed by volcanic rock and coral.
Oh, wow.
So it's real rocky, man. Like it's not like round cobblestone rocks. It's real jaggedy, jiggity-janked rock. Yeah. And it's low tide at that time. So it's a lot of rock to get out to the water. And my 9-year-old daughter, Peyton, was like, I want to go. And I'm like, okay, put your sandals on and let's do this. So she's 9 and super coordinated. So she just walks out there. No big deal. She's in the water already swimming, looking for fish and stuff. And I'm behind her and I'm using my cane and my wife's freaking out. She's holding my 5-year-old daughter's hand and she's like, oh my God, stop. I'm like, why? She's like, I can't do this. Like, you're going to go to the hospital. This is going to be bad. I'm like, man, I want to do this. I want to go out there with the kids. Like, I really want to do this. So I did. And she helped me. She's like, okay, left foot, right. You know, she was kind of trying to tell me where I could put my foot down to take that next step. But the cane was really helping, man. I was, you know, kind of tapping my next step because I go hiking too with my family. And that's kind of how I do it. I use my right cane to guide and my left is stability, right? Okay. So that way, if I do miss a step, I got something to hold me up. So I was kind of doing it with my white cane. Couldn't believe the thing didn't snap in half. All 200 pounds of me leaning on that thing. I was just waiting for it to pop and it held up, dude. The aluminum held strong. I made my way out there, dude. I was really proud of myself, man. I was like, this is a moment. People thought we were nuts. You know, if I look, oh my God, look at this crazy blind guy going through tide pools. What the heck? You know, like I felt nuts doing it. And my wife was freaking out, but she was so proud of me for doing it. So I was out there with my 9-year-old daughter. My 5-year-old daughter, not for her. She's a little fancy, and the fish in the water, she wasn't into that, man. She's like, no, I'm gonna go.
It is called shark pools.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not. No, it was like turtles and like natural sea life, and it was cool. I mean, it's you know, it's only like 2 feet deep, a foot, 2 feet deep or so, all the way out. So I was using my cane in the water. There's some rocks kind of throughout the place, so I was just using my cane, tapping each step, and emptied it out. Water's pouring out of it, you know, and all right, whatever, dude. It's got sand in it. It's got salt water. It's been dragged all over Hawaii now. And we, went to Haleiwa. We had lunch. We went shopping. My girls got some like little fake tattoos. And I mean, it was a great day. And that was a win for me. Like doing that with my daughter, showing her you don't give up. You find a way, man. And that's like the lesson in my house is we never give up. Life's hard. Life's going to get challenging. Ups and downs. Life can be, I mean, really shitty sometimes. And it can be amazing at sometimes, but you never give up. And my daughters will say that through and through to the day they die. We never give up. When a problem comes, you never give up. So I wanted to do that, you know?
Yeah, that's you're setting such a powerful example for them, you know? And, you know, it's like, I had a past guest, Mark Arelli, the musician, and he had a quote about, you know, he doesn't have the luxury of giving up, basically, because people are watching. You know, he has children, they're watching. So if he gives up, then that's what they see. You know, he does. So he doesn't have the luxury of kind of, you know, not trying.
I completely agree. Yeah. And I mean, and that's the reality too, as you talk about being a parent and going through this, you know, even if you're not a parent, if you're an adopted parent, you're an adoptive parent, or you have friends out here that are watching, or younger people that are watching. Like I know you've got nieces and nephews, right? Yeah. They're watching you, you know, they watch your mom, they watch your sister, they're watching your family and how you guys deal with it. And for us, it's like, I want my girls to look at this and say, yeah, my dad can't see, but he's here. You know, he's always here. He's in the pool playing with us. He's doing this. And
trust me, that's way more important. That's way more important than, you know, being a sighted dad who's absent.
I get jealous of my neighbors, you know, who can take their kids in the morning and go drive and get them donuts. I get jealous of these things that they get to do with them. Yeah. But then there's also these other things that I do with my kids that, I mean, the closest of our relationship is very strong. And I know that at some point in their life, they're going to look back and be like, man, yeah, like we're stronger from this. We're more empathetic from that. We care more because of my dad losing his vision, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, it's true, man. I agree with Mark completely. And yeah, never give up. It's you got to push, always push. Even if it's, you know, I'd break a toe every day to show my kids that lesson. You know?
Yeah, you also mentioned that, you know, your daughters kind of stepped up and they're and how they learned to guide you on this trip. What kind of sparked that? What's the story
family
there?
All right. So we talked with you and Natalie, my wife Angela and I. We're very interdependent. You know, we're very in tune. She knows how to work with me, and she's a freaking amazing woman. I love her so much, and she's like my best friend for life, dude. I love her so much. And this trip was a big deal. If a lot falls on your partner's shoulders, we got 2 kids and a blind husband. It's like she's the only one who can be the adult. You know, if it's a bad situation, she makes a call. We have to listen. no questions asked. She saw something that we didn't see. So there's trust, like just blind trust, no pun intended. Excuse me. So my wife did awesome. She kept it cool, calm, collected. I mean, 99% of the time, she was just, this is what we're doing. And she just kept her cool. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. With all the challenges and all the stuff we were doing, she really did awesome. And my daughter, Peyton, just turned 9 back in April. And for the past year, she's not been really eager to guide. I think she's kind of scared of it. I'm sick, I'm a tall guy, and, she doesn't want to hurt her dad. And I think she felt a little unconfident about it. So on this trip, we found this routine, because that was really going to be the challenge. Moving as a family of 4, how do we do that, right? Mom can't hold 3 people's hands, right? Yeah. And we've kind of developed where she walks in front with the 2 girls and I follow, and that works pretty well. But the sidewalks and the walking paths in Waikiki are too small for that. So we had to go 2 by 2. So it kind of was a forced thing, but my wife would lead with Lila, who's my 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. And then Peyton and I would be behind her. Peyton would hold my left hand. I use my cane with my right. And we developed, like, the first day going to the airport, she stepped up and she was into it. Yeah. And then the entire rest of the trip, walking at least 5 to 6 miles a day, she was my guide. Wow. And we developed, a hand squeeze for a drop. That means a curb's coming. And if I wasn't using my cane, just jolt me back, I'd stop immediately, man. I have to blind trust again. Pulls my hand back, I stop. And
that's cooler than a personalized handshake, dude.
Dude, it was amazing. Yeah. And we weren't even talking about it, dude. Like, we literally were just cruising, and our hands would get sweaty. We're walking, it's humid. And then I'd take my hand off. She put her hand right on my pocket, on my pocket of my board shorts, or grab the edge of my pocket, and she would keep me there, and then she could control me from there. We'd get our hands back together. But the way she stepped up and tackled it, it blew my mind. I mean, I get emotional thinking about it, because I just was so proud of her. Yeah. And then what we did together was just, we grew, as a family, we grew. And on the second to last day, we have this photo we've been taking. I'd have a picture of me and my dad on this wall when I was 4, a picture of me and him when I was like 25, and then a picture of me and him with Peyton when she was 2.5, and then a picture now we just did of my dad, me, Peyton at 9, and Lila at 5. So it's a pretty cool photo. And we started that tradition with me, my wife, and the girls. But it's a seawall called the Kiddie Pool down by the Ala Moana Surf Rider in Waikiki, and it's a really shallow pool, maybe a foot, 18 inches deep, but in the corners, the sand gets sucked out from the ocean on the other side of the wall, creating a vacuum of the water, right? Like a little riptide kind of deal. And there's a corner of it you can jump off into the water. You have to jump out over rocks into the water. So my daughter's like, I want to do it. I'm like, all right. Like, she's a great swimmer. Like, she's strong. All right, go for it. So she goes up there all by herself. She's got her backwards trucker hat on, a total little beach girl, and does it, man. And she's like, Dad, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm all up for the thrill, but not seeing, I don't want, it's scary, dude. Yeah. I don't have my cane with me. We're in the ocean. And
how far is the drop entirely. Again?
Maybe 4 feet. It's nothing crazy, but it's high enough where, if you fell on a rock, you're not going to feel good. You know what I mean? And so it gets me up on top of the thing, and I'm following her just like we've been guiding the whole time. And I'm like, where's the edge? She's like 3 feet, 2 feet. She's like, okay, your toes are on the edge. She's like, okay, jump out and right. And I said, what? She's like, yeah, jump out and right. So right's the deeper part. I'm like, oh, okay. Are there rocks there? She's like, yeah, but just don't go too right. And I'm like, oh my God. Wow. This is terrifying. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So I just did it, and it was super rewarding, man. I was so proud of I was proud of her. I was proud of myself. Yeah. And then my little 5-year-old wanted to do it. So we had to kind of maneuver. I was like underneath her, trying to make sure she jumped out far enough. But, it inspired her too. And then, in the hallways of the hotel going to and from the condo, my little 5-year-old's like, Dad, I'm going to be your guide. I want to guide. And she wants to do it because she knows they're helping me, it's not here, take my hand. It's like they want to help. And it just made my heart just on fire, dude. Yeah. Just on fire.
Yeah. If that didn't, I think you wouldn't have a heart. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's such a good story.
It's moments, dude. And there's all these little moments that happen through this trip that wouldn't have happened. Now when we go out, we're going to go out to dinner tonight, hopefully. And I know Peyton, who's 9 years old, is gonna be like, I got you, Dad. No, it's not a thing for her anymore. It's not something she's scared of. It built confidence. It built trust. It built, that moment. And it helps my wife. It helps our crew, our house do more things now. So it was my messaging to this whole thing is, dude, it is scary. If you're going blind, if you still have good vision, but it's changing, like I know, you did your O&M, so something's up, maybe it's not completely measurable today. Something's up. And there's other people like, Dan Mancina, Justin Bishop, and Mark, all these people that may not see anything at all that have been down this road, and they still get scared, man. Like they still have moments, because being blind is pretty terrifying.
And life in general is terrifying, and then you throw blindness into the mix.
Nobody gets out alive,
Yeah, true.
But it was I learned a lot.
So you're saying your message would be to just take that leap,
to do it.
Kind of like you did on that beach, where you got to take that leap, and then
symbolically, that is a wonderful way to put that, my friend.
Yeah, it's like you got to, you could have said no, but then you wouldn't have had that moment, and then you wouldn't have inspired your 5-year-old to want to jump, and then you wouldn't be sitting here talking to me about that really amazing memory that you have stored in your brain now. So sometimes you gotta you just gotta burst out of your comfort zone. You gotta make some stories happen. Stories don't just happen on their own. You gotta make some stories happen, and I think it's good advice. Perfectly
put, man. And like there's every reason. I mean, we say that here. There's every reason never to do it. There's all these reasons not to go to Hawaii. Oh, we've got the house. Oh, I've got work. We've got responsibility. We made it happen. Packing sucks. Unpacking sucks. Laundry sucks. It's so much work. It's so much money. But then there's these moments, this gold, that happen.
Make it all worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All that effort.
So it's scary, man, and terrifying, no matter where you are in your vision loss journey or whatever thing you're going through. If it's a battle you're dealing with, it is terrifying, and it's hard to break that mold and to step out. But for me on this trip, it really showed me like, we need to do that. It's good for me. It's good for them. It's good for my family. So we're going up to a hotel, or we're staying in a hotel next Wednesday. We're doing another adventure.
Nice.
Just before school starts, to do a one-night little fun trip. And I'm not even worried about it, because I feel much more confident in my family's ability and my ability to navigate and figure these things out. Right. Yeah. So I do. Yeah. I think, if you're stuck at home right now and you're thinking, man, I really want to go here or do that, do it. Try to find some help, try to find some people you trust and you can rely on, because you will need help. Yeah. At least for myself, I can't speak for everyone, but you need help.
So blind people can have fun, and blind people can vacation.
Yes.
And, but canes do not do well in salt water,
By the end of that trip, man, the roller ball, because it's a bearing inside, right? Like on the roller tips, it's a bearing inside, and it's sealed in there. So you can't really take it apart without breaking. I tried to fix it when we were there. Like I was going up to the pool and then shake it in the pool, trying to get all the sand and salt water out, and it would start rolling for a little bit, and then it would just rust up again. So like, it was like the day 2 or day 3, it just stopped rolling, and I'm like, all right. I got the new one in it, all good. But saltwater, not so much.
Did you have a name for that first cane? Did you name it?
No, man. I never named it.
I know some people do, some people don't. I was just curious. But
I actually just ordered one from Ambutech, which, by the way, dude, if you haven't been to their website, you can do all kinds of colors now.
Yeah, Ambutech rules.
Oh, so cool, dude.
Yeah, Ambutech has everything.
So cool. Yeah.
Ambutech's probably the best probably out there, I would say.
It survived that trip. It survived 3 years.
That's the cane I was given during my training. So I recommend.
Did you get rollerball or marshmallow tip?
I have marshmallow tip because my instructor said that's the one that you can feel the most detail.
The big one or the small one?
It's small.
Get the big one, dude. The jumbo marshmallow roller tip, baby. I have one with that smaller tip. I was a cane, actually. My O&M instructor started me off one, but it was too short for me. And man, that little tip gets stuck in everything, dude. Like, I hated it. It would jab me in the gut all the time.
Well, that's what
dude.
I was dealing with when I was outside, and it was very frustrating.
Order, did you get it fit for you, like height wise?
Yeah, she measured it and all that and gave me a custom, size one,
On Ambutech, I believe you can order just the tip. So if you take your cane at the bottom of it and pull that tip off, you'll see if it's a hook on tip, which is the elastic cord. Yeah. And it has a little hook, and that's how it. If it's a hook on tip, dude, try one of the jumbo.
I'll buy a jumbo.
Tips.
I'm gonna buy a jumbo marshmallow. I'm gonna buy a ball too. I'm curious to try them.
It's clutch, dude.
Yeah.
That one is a lifesaver, man. Because it might hit a crack every once in a while, but not because it's so big. And I have a longer arm, so the way I drop mine down it just goes, dude. Yeah. It goes across sand. It goes around coral. It goes.
Yeah. You should. Steve from the RP show. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but he just recently posted a video where he's using this it's like a scooter. It looks like a scooter wheel.
The rolling disc.
But it's not a disc. It looks like a wheel, because it's vertical. It's not like parallel to the ground. It's vertical.
Okay.
And how he would use it is he would basically roll it in like a zigzag kind of motion in front of him. So when he's hiking, it can kind of go. It won't get stuck on anything.
That's cool.
And he seemed to really love it. So there's all sorts of tips out there.
Might have to order another one from Ambutech there.
Yeah, you should just have the whole arsenal and just have your garage. You know how people have the tool racks? You just have a cane rack.
Cane rack?
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. All right, we're going here. Just cane up, baby.
Yeah.
It does make a difference. And when you get, I don't do it. Like the O&M training, it helps so much. But if my O&M trainer saw me today, she's like, "You're doing it all wrong." Like, yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
But it works for me now, yeah. And I think, Justin Bishop's talked on it too. You find your own way with it,
Yeah.
There's a right way to do it that someone said it's the right way. But my stride is always off, dude. I never get my feet right. I don't even try anymore. I literally don't even try to get my feet going, left, right. I don't even try anymore. I just do what I need to do, and if I
hear you.
feel unsafe, I just stop and double check, and just give it a good tap around and make sure I'm good, and then continue on. Yeah. But as you develop and you use it more and more, your hearing comes in tune with it too. So the echoes of it can help too. Because I walk around my neighborhood and someone's car will be in a driveway, and I can hear the echo of the cane tip on the concrete hit the car, and whoop, whoop. And sure enough, there's a trailer hitch hanging off a big lifted truck. It would have cracked my shin off. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So there's little things that I've noticed that happen with time of using it, in different situations and different, obviously areas that help a lot. It's practice. It's a relationship. It's absolutely a relationship.
And that's why I'm glad, I have people like you I can connect with and talk to and learn all these tips, man. Because it's like learning a foreign language. Blindness is like learning this whole new thing. So
I
gotta have help.
I told my wife before we left, it's there's a shift, and Justin Bishop said it well. Going blind's easier than losing your vision, right?
Yeah.
Chad Foster in his book Blind Ambition says the part of losing your vision is the absolute worst part. Being blind's easier than losing your vision. And I feel like I'm in the middle of that right now. And lately I feel like I'm leaving a world of sight to a world of non-sight. And it's lonely at times. Look how pretty the bird is. Look at how pretty the sunset is. I don't understand those things. But I do understand the way the wind feels. I understand the way something feels to me, textility. And there's a metamorphic change that occurs in your understanding of the world and your functionality as a person. And it is scientifically, you can go looking and forward. I could send you some stuff I found, but our brains start remapping during the vision loss portion to where you stop trying to create the images as much as, because it can't, right? Your brain can't do it. It's very similar to amputees, very similar to people who lose an important limb, any limb really. But you have to relearn the world in that way now, you do everything different. Your body and your brain adapts to do what it needs to do. So it's a trippy thing, and I've been feeling it, and it is lonely at times, but also cool, you know?
Well, I'm glad we're friends. I'm glad we can chat like this.
Man.
And, you know, I've learned so much from you, and I'm appreciative of you sharing that story. Because, you know, I think, again, everyone wants to find love and everyone wants to vacation. So, you know, that's the two topics
out there.
The two topics we've covered, and who knows what's next. I'm sure we'll have another topic sometime soon, man. But
I hope so.
I think that's a good point to end this conversation on. Andy, what do you think?
Sounds good. I think it's good. Good. I mean, I thank you, Lance. I hope you had a good one, and I hope you have a great vacation, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing this shirt, because I knew we were talking about vacations. It's a shirt, it has pink flamingos on it, and it's like aqua green, like pinstripes, and it's very.
I should have got one of my corny Hawaiian shirts on, man.
Yeah. I almost was going to tell you to
awesome.
wear a Hawaiian shirt, you know, just to kind of have a theme, but then I
Spice
think
it up.
I just forgot.
That would be funny, dude.
But yeah, man, have fun, man, and thanks for coming on, and chat with you sometime soon, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you very much for the time.